What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Inkcast. And we're talking about the new Lorecast that we just got. So we just sat through the Lorecast today. If you're seeing this, it was technically yesterday. But we're just going through our thoughts around all the big announcements that were there. But before we do that, let's go around the room. You know myself, Default Dan, a.k.a. Britt. Just here with the Inkcast doing videos, loving Lorcana. Next, we have Prashan.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? It is Prashan here, and I am a part of the Inkcast as well. Been playing since, set 3? I guess
Yeah.
I'm an official player now since I actually got top 8 in the set champs. So,
Yeah. I mean, technically, top 4, number 1 seed coming out of
Yeah.
Swiss.
Yeah,
So,
until you beat me.
pat yourself on the back there.
Yeah. I'll take it.
All right. How about you, Tristan?
I've been playing since set 1. I paid way too much for the cards in set 1, and then I've just been kind of playing ever since. So I got second this weekend. Beating second feels so bad with no mat now.
I know. It's definitely another topic we got to deep dive in later this week or next week, because set champs is amazing, but there's definitely some feel bads with the new changes they have in there. So we're definitely going to have to spin that off into a video as well. But talking about this video, we've got the lore cast that just happened. And honestly, guys, I want to get y'all's first opinions on it, because I don't know, this one felt so much better than all the rest. Like, I don't know if this was somewhat halfway pre-recorded or anything, but I just feel like all the older ones, or the previous ones we had, were just like so pre-recorded, and you were just like watching a YouTube video live with everybody else. So it definitely felt a lot different in this one.
Could have been
Yeah, I think they mixed the two, right? They did a mixture of like some live interaction between like the casters and everybody, and then some pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah. What do you think, Tristan?
Could have been from the new guy. They have a new guy. He's a new editor, or I don't know what his official title is, but it seems like he's running things.
Community manager. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So he's running things a lot more smoothly. I mean, maybe he's wanted to be really professional now because the game has grown like a lot.
Yeah. And I suspect almost all of it was live. Again, I don't know that's true, but like I saw where he flubbed on a couple things, and they just kept rolling with it. So I don't know. To me, it felt pretty live. But then again, I mean, when he did the whole transition from the pre-show, I guess they technically could have cut from that. But the fact that he was gone for an hour and then he also came back for the post-show, I think most of all that was pretty live. The only thing, of course, was Ryan's stuff was not live because it had to be pre-recorded, which again we'll talk about some of those things. But overall, I mean, were you guys pleased with the way it was handled, all the information that we got? Anything you guys would have maybe liked to see differently or presented differently, or pretty good?
Overall, the presentation was pretty good. I just didn't like the countdown. Like, just go right into it. Don't open packs in front of my face and get an enchanted Tamatoa. Just go right into it. Give us the stuff we want.
If there's anything that was scripted, that was probably that. Like, there's no way that they just randomly pulled an enchanted Tamatoa on camera. Like, I was
they waited
there.
They waited. They had the scanner machine that can like 3D scan all through the packs and stuff. And
or they just
here it is,
like glued it back together. I don't know. I've seen those videos too. But I didn't know that there was a pre-show. Like, I guess that was my bad. I can't read, but I like turned on at 12, and I was like sitting there, and I was like, "What is this? Like, I don't want to watch this. Like, come on."
It was there was a lot of people in the chat kind of mentioning that, and it was worded that way, but it wasn't. It was, hey, we're gonna start at 9 a.m.
PST
Pacific time, but then it did say announcements will start at 10. So again, it didn't say like pre-show or anything like that. But it's definitely, I guess it's good to know in the future. I mean, again, JDZ, they did a good job in that. If you just want to kind of hang out, let them talk and stuff. They were mentioning about, getting more creators involved and things like that, which is good to hear in general as, being a creator and everything, compared to what we're seeing over in Europe. And they even brought this up a little bit. And I'm sure they were like, shh, don't say those things because they can't promise us stuff. But at the same time, it was kind of good to hear that they seem like they're going to be doing more and more with the creator community for North America, whereas Europe again has kind of had a lot of that.
More than a lot.
Absolutely, with their special stuff, and again, I get it. Europe is a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier for everybody to get on a train and meet up at a headquarters. Whereas here, they're over in Seattle. We're down here in Florida, so that's a pretty big plane flight to go out there for a day or two. Would still love to do it. So if you want to invite the Inkcast, we're good for it. But it is definitely much more than just a train ride over. So speaking of the Lorecast, we had a lot of topics, and we're going to kind of run through these because again, we want to kind of keep this pretty straightforward. But first one, we got Rain of Jafar. We're going to be talking about spoilers on a different video, and pretty much every day this week we should have a new video coming out with different spoilers and talking about those. But I did want to kind of touch on real quick. We got the new co-op game coming out, and they showcased that. And I'm curious what you guys think because, yeah, I thought the presentation at least was pretty good in what they're doing with it.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, "What is a cereal box? Like, what is going on? Did they do something with Kellogg's?" But it was pretty good that they listened to all the feedback, especially with the like presentation and putting it back inside of a box, because like the Ursula's like return stuff, like it felt bad opening that up, and then like where do you put all the pieces after? So
Yeah.
being able to like play the game, display it on the shelf, and just have it just like a normal board game is pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, my wife and I are kind of thinking, we're like, oh wow, the puzzle company finally made like a box. Like, whoa, it's kind of a novel idea. So
You know,
yeah, I was
Si-
pretty
cons-
happy
considering
about that.
considering Villainous also all come in boxes.
Yeah.
Their other game. Yeah, I was actually thinking like maybe I have to get two and then just like sticker on top of one of them for Ursula. So now my Ursula has a box.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah, I mean, like right now I've got them in deck boxes. I've got because I keep everything together, so I've got all three decks in three deck boxes. I know they're color coded, so I know which ones they are. But you still have all those other game pieces and stuff in a baggie next to them. So would love to have a box for that. So we got a couple spoilers also, and again, those will show up in a different video. But got a couple spoilers for some of the cards that are there. But they definitely went pretty all in with this kind of red theme around Jafar. So we're seeing red on a lot of cards.
Yeah, the deck boxes looks pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm excited. It's going to be
And I
a little
wonder if they're
different than
gonna
all the
preview a
purple.
card again for
Maybe.
the next set. That would be pretty cool too.
Yeah. I have to imagine, right? They'll do the same thing they did with the Hex Crown. So it'll be like something from set 10, I imagine, that'll be in there.
I mean,
Not necessarily Fabled.
If they announce set 10, then theoretically, sure, they kind of have to,
Yeah.
right? Like that way, you can't like get to the end of the game and you're like, oh well, what's this? Like
Yeah.
now that we know what set 10 is, it kind of gives us a little context, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so. We'll talk about that point towards the end of this of set 10, but who knows? Maybe a certain other villain will show up in there or something like that from that. And maybe that's why they gave us that information. But yeah, so as we went from there, they talked about another hot topic. And again, I know there was some spoilers and things like that earlier this week, and we haven't really talked about those, but we got the official news of Worlds. Again, we did see a video earlier in the week talking about Worlds and the fact that it'll be closed and not open to the public. But since we haven't talked about it too much, I want to take a few minutes here to talk about it with you guys. Like, again, we're all here in Florida. We all had been talking about like, hey, we're popping over to Walt Disney World. You know, whenever this happens, we're going to make it happen. Show up, whatever. And then now we're told like, nope, doors will be locked. You can't come in. So, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts? And I'll start with you, Tristan, because I know you were really looking forward. I mean, you made the trip to California and everything for the Nationals, the Last Chance qualifiers and stuff. So,
I mean, Disney has, for local Florida residents, I think they have some hotel, like cheaper hotels and things like that. And right now, not a lot of people are traveling. Air traffic's down. So I'm like, man, this would be the perfect time to kind of give them a little boost in sales and to open up their game. But I don't understand why, you go from like D23 over here and then from D23 you announce this, and then you're like, pump the brakes. Like, I get it. You have like a whole new creative team. I kind of understand that, but I don't know. I'm just frustrated as a native Floridian. You're like, man, now I don't have to travel across the country, and now it's like, well, great, you can watch it on your phone. And I'm like, it's very frustrating to me. Like, kind of dropped the ball there.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Prashant? I know you were also considering it and thinking about going as well, because you didn't get to go to any DLCs this time around.
No, I sucked as a player and I didn't know how to play the game at all. I was more of a collector, especially what they said in the video. Like, they want people to collect the cards and then finally pique their interest and actually play. So actually being able to watch like the top players make some spice and play the spice like would have been interesting to see in person. But I don't know. We don't know if like what the logistics or the venue, like were they able to accommodate everybody? And then I don't know. Who knows? But I think they did miss an opportunity of having it here at Disney. You have tons of people in Florida. I feel like the competition is very high here in Florida since we are Disney people. So I definitely think it's a missed opportunity. And hopefully they do something in the future where we all can actually go and participate and see.
Yeah. Well, and in California as well, like you weren't able to go into the tournament room. Like if you didn't make day 2, you weren't able to, from the last chance qualifier, you didn't make it in. So, you might not have been able to watch the players even if you went. But the point was, to me, like, hey, you announced a whole new world. I want my whole new world. But now it's like, well, how do we get that, right?
Yeah, and they mentioned that a little bit on there, specifically saying like, hey, stay tuned. You are going to be able to get that non-foil whole new world card by watching the particular cast. Now, what's interesting though is again, Rebecca Quest posted over on Instagram mentioning something about having watch parties at your local LGS. So I don't know if this is something where like, hey, they're going to send a whole bunch of cards to an LGS and then you get to, they get to hand them out or whatever. Or if this is like what we've seen on some of these other Twitch parties and things where it's like, hey, watch it. There's some giveaways or whatever. They randomly pick some people to send it out. So I think there's a couple ways to do it. I'm a little worried if it's an LGS thing because I know we have, and again, I'm not trying to talk bad about certain shops, but there are a lot of shops out there that don't necessarily give out their promos now unless you ask about them. And even then, like, I'm curious, like, how many are they going to send? If that's even the case, right? We're just going under assumptions and guesses here. But if it is, like, are they sending 5 to an LGS? Are they sending 50? Because you got to think, like, the heroes, right? They got, 40 or 60 of the little heroes for set champs to every single LGS. And if they do that number, this card's going to be pennies. I mean, it's still a good card, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, and then is this card going to get reprinted in set 9 because they're handing it out now, right? Otherwise, like, hey, you're giving us a card that's not only overprinted, but it's also not going to be playable in the next format. Which would be kind of awkward.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to find out more information. Again, they kind of breezed over it. I imagine they have a lot of upcoming casts that are coming up, and they're actually wanting to get this going with a weekly cast with Greg, again, that community manager. So I think we'll be getting a lot more information. They're trying to figure out what they can tell us, how they want to tell us, and stuff like that. So I definitely want to get that answer in the next couple days from them if possible. But speaking of kind of will the card be playable, rotation, all of that, before we talk about rotation, it was said about the DLCs. So a lot of questions have been around of like, okay, if we have Worlds coming up, we still don't have DLC information. They told us they would give us actual DLC information at Worlds, but they mentioned that they wanted to do this rotation and they wanted to start DLCs with a new rotation. And then it would run during that particular rotation. So I think this is a good stepping stone without having specific dates and things like that. It sounds like maybe September, October, maybe we start DLCs back again since Worlds is going to be in a little bit, but then we have a rotation coming in September with Fabled. So, I don't know. Before we jump into rotation, DLCs, any thoughts around that? And again, maybe starting up in September, October, is that a good thing? Is that going to be a busy time because you got school, everything coming back in, holidays. Should they just wait till January? What are y'all's initial thoughts on that?
I would assume it should be after the next set rotation, right? That way you have like new fresh decks. Everyone can start fresh. The newer players could play the newer cards. They don't have to worry about going back and getting some of the old stuff. I think that would be a good way to just like restart and reset and just have a fresh new scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Like, unfortunately, as a player, hey, I have the summer, I want to do it, but like a personal thing, like you said, going back to school, my wife's a teacher, and having a kid in August, so to us, we're like, hey, delay it, like that way we can go. But
Yeah.
in general, the question is, to me, it's like, hey, did they kick it off in Atlanta again? Where do they kick it off? Like they kicked it off in Atlanta last time. It would be nice if they follow the same schedule, because then it'd make it easier for everybody. So logistically speaking, I think I agree with Prashant. Like, it's definitely, everybody can get their new cards with set 9 and the reprints, and then it opens up the game to a lot of people, I feel like.
So one thing I would say, like, again, not getting into details too much of the weeds here, because we're definitely going to have these conversations when we get more information about DLCs and some speculation as it comes up closer to Worlds. But I mean, I hope we have more. Like, we had like 6 this past time, maybe 7 when they added, some of those extra ones. But like, we need like 12. We need like one a month out there. We need potentially, I don't think we'll get more than one a month, but I think back to like Magic's heyday of GPs, opens, all of that kind of stuff, where these things were going on a bunch.
Look at Pokemon. Look at Pokemon right now. I mean, Pokemon has one literally every month, I think.
Yeah. Or even, and they've kind of mentioned it a little bit in passing, but like, again, we'll get more information, but like also having some type of qualifiers. I know Japan has the qualifiers to get in at local shops. So maybe getting something like that over here as well, so that maybe you don't have to travel 2 states over or 5 states over to try to compete with a point system or something. I don't know. But like, again, I'm really curious how they're going to approach it, because I think the first year they didn't know it was going to be so big, but they have to get over this whole sell out in 5 seconds. They got to get over this, like, where people can compete multiple times. I got to compete once, and it was in Atlanta. Didn't get to do anything beyond that, just because, one, they sold out in seconds, and then trying to plan that whole trip and all of that's really difficult when you don't know if you're even going to get a ticket. And then by the time you get a ticket, it's so close to the event, everything's skyrocketed in prices. So hopefully we get a lot of more details around the DLCs in these upcoming weeks as we get closer, to everything. But going into rotation, so like you guys mentioned, rotation is going to be happening. It's going to kind of correspond with Fabled coming out, which we'll talk about in just a second. But with the rotation, if you guys don't know what that means and you're kind of listening in, I know it's the talk everywhere, but essentially this is going to be a rotation that happens every year. So what we do is every year we're going to knock out the last block of sets. Right now, because we've waited so long, it's going to knock out 1 through 4, and then we'll have set 5 through Fabled be playable. The whole set of Fabled or the next 3 sets are going to come out, and then when you get to the next set, it's going to knock out 4 or 5 through 8. So it's going to be this rolling every year. We're going to knock out 4 sets as we get another one. So at the smallest, you're going to have 5 sets that are playable. At the largest, you're going to have 8 total sets. And then that's just going to kind of keep rolling in here. But I want to get your thoughts just on rotation in general. I think we all kind of agree it's kind of needed and good, but there's a lot of uncertainty around it as well.
Yeah, I think the uncertainty is like what cards are going to get reprinted for the most part, right? But like the good thing is, like, if you've been playing this whole time, you have most of those cards that have been reprinted, and technically you could use those cards, or I'm assuming you could use those cards the way they try to display it to us, which I think is pretty cool, right? You could just show off your set 1 Maleficent or whatever, and someone's like, oh crap, you've been playing forever. So I think that's pretty cool, but the phases is much needed. Like, if you want to grow the game and have new players play and make them feel like they didn't miss anything, like you're gonna have to keep on doing those rotations. It might suck because you might have like that favorite deck that you've been playing forever. What set is Diablo in, Dan?
Yeah,
Three.
set 3. He is going to be gone.
So he's on the chopping block. So you're gonna have to hope to see if he gets reprinted in the future. But like certain cards like that is like, all right, it's over for them, and then hopefully we get like a new Diablo or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Tristan?
I'm excited for rotation. I think it'd be pretty good. It's like you said, it's just a question of what are they reprinting and how much are they going to reprint, right? Because like you said, is us people that have been playing for a long time, what's in it for me? Why am I buying Fabled, right? If you're reprinting and half the set is reprints, I'm not going to buy it. I just buy singles, right? Like that's just kind of how it is. So they can't reprint too many cards. That's my opinion, right? Yeah. But every game has rotation, and it's about time. Another really cool thing is what are they going to do with the Infinity format? I think they could really do something with that, and I'd be really excited to see that because things are starting to stack, so you could actually make tribal decks.
Yeah, Infinity is one of those that I'm glad they announced it because it's needed. So whenever you have these rotations, if you guys are, again, kind of new to card games or anything like that, usually in a card game when they have a rotation, they have some type of format that they call an eternal format. So Magic has many of those: you have Vintage, Legacy, Modern, Pioneer, and essentially what that means is those formats are always around, and as you lose your cards out of your standard format, they get gained in that format, which technically with Infinity you would use everything. I'm curious, and these will be questions that'll come out as we get closer, like what is Hiram? Is Hiram unbanned in Infinity? Is it still banned over there? I hope he's unbanned over there as he rotates in until they figure out what that format looks like.
I think they said it's going to have a separate ban list, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, and that perfectly makes sense because again, I know this isn't Magic, but if you think of the one card game that's been here for 30 years that has gone through ups and downs, Magic has figured a lot of that out with separate ban list, how to handle it in there. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. My only concern with the two formats, it's not for the game. My concern is for the LGS stores. So this is one thing I just want to talk briefly about, and then I want to do a deeper dive video later specifically around this, because I know around us, there's tons of stores. Like if we put a 1 hour radius of driving around us, right, there's tons of stores. But a lot of our stores struggle currently with standard, getting enough people to come in with standard. So a lot of these stores are going to figure out, well, are we playing standard? Are we playing Infinity? Are we doing 2 nights a week now? Because most of these stores can only support 1 night a week as is, and you're lucky to have 12 people there, right? There's a couple shops that are the exception, but most shops you struggle to get 8 to fire stuff. So I don't know. That's my bigger concern, just on how do we support these formats when this happens. So
are they going to hand out pins? Are they going to, what are they going to do, right? I know a lot of not comic shops, but a lot of like local shops, like they have like a casual night and then they have like a competitive night. Mm-hmm. So are they going to have like an Infinity night for casual people or what? There's a lot of opportunity actually, but there's a lot of questions.
Yeah. So I think that's the big thing, right? I want to do a deeper dive at some point, really talking through some of that, just because what we're seeing so far with how it is, but also we just had the bans. So right now, a lot of shops and a lot of places are trying to figure out what they're going to do. Again, we're down here in Florida, so there's a lot of super competitive people. And as of right now, some of those people probably don't want to go to shops outside of set champs to show off their decks that they may or may not be using for Worlds. So we'll see, as we get there. But with that being said, the rotation happens once Fabled is here. And Tristan, you already kind of mentioned this. Fabled is said to have half the set being reprints. So yes, I think if you're a longtime player from set 1, set 2, things like that, there's a chance that singles are the way to go with this set. But they have 2 brand new rarities on cards. So we have the Iconic and the Epic. So I think that I think that these may be things that drive people to open Fable, and maybe that's why they had to add these to Fable, and they'll be moving forward too. But like, maybe that's where they're like, hey, how do we sell a set when most of our, 50% of our player base probably already has all these cards? Like, how do we sell this? And they're like, well, what if we reprint them and make the cards look different with the new, art style on it? It's the same images, but different art style.
They didn't show the new art style, at least for Rockstar Stitch and Big Tank.
But they did with so
Elsa.
there's
I think they showed Elsa, right?
That was the new rarity, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think they said they're gonna have the same art. So even on the reprinted cards, they're gonna have the same art, just a different set number at the bottom. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna have the iconic ones, and I think they said 12 or 16. There was a larger number.
18?
18 maybe?
I think it was 18.
Yeah, it was a big number.
So those are all going to be reprints, but they're going to have kind of essentially the enchanted look from set 1 minus the foiling. Like it's going to be a foil, but it's not the enchanted foiling. If that makes sense. It'll be the normal foiling with that art style.
Yeah, and then they say that that's like what, somewhere like you have like legendary here, and then you have like enchanted here, and it's going to be kind of like right in the middle, right?
Yep.
So my question is, if theoretically you get like, I don't know, 5 legendaries a box or something like that, roughly 4 to 5, and then you get like maybe 1 enchanted per case, depending on which set you're pulling from, is this going to be like a, 2 every 2 boxes you'll get 1 kind of a thing, kind of meet in the middle there, or 2 cases, kind of, who knows?
I'm imagining like, and this is just my guess, I'm imagining you're going to get 1 to 2 a box. Because like, I think enchanteds are very hard to get right now, and they're trying to figure out this, like, how do we make it to where people will open packs? And I think by putting like 2 of those in a box, you'll have people opening packs.
You could go the Pokemon route. That's kind of what you're talking about. I mean, that's what Pokemon does, where like when you open Pokemon packs, you're like, man, I got a hit. It looks great, but it's worth 50 cents. If they do that with Lorcana, that's great. Like, make it so that there's an enchanted, 2 enchanteds per case or something like that. So they got to lower the numbers down because it's just too hard to play with shiny cardboard right now.
That's why we got the epic.
The epic, and then we get the iconic, right? The iconic is going to be 2 cards.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it's only going to be 2 in the set, and imagine that's going to be continued in futures. Yeah. So those are going to be harder than enchanted. So those are like 1 every 3 cases. I don't know. I'm guessing at numbers, right? But like
3 to 4.
So I hope you don't want a play set of those bad boys coming in. But they looked pretty decent from what we could see on screen. Again, they were covering half the card. They didn't zoom in on it or anything like that. But I mean, I think the gold treatment, if that's how they continue to look moving forward, I think they could look pretty nice. But I don't know. It was weird to hear there's only 2. I was imagining there was more than just 2 in a set.
Yeah. Yeah, I was disappointed in that. I thought there was going to be like at least like 4, maybe. Maybe like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy or something. I thought that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. Put all 5 in there. It's
put all of them in.
Yeah. Have the whole
sensational
gang.
6. It's the sensational 6. But
is that it?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Wait, is Pluto a part of the 6?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
that's the
all right.
6. I thought it was the Fab 5, which didn't include Pluto. But yeah.
No. I don't know.
But,
I just know, like, in other Disney games, it's usually the sensational 6. So.
Okay, that would make sense. But if they only have 2, I mean, are they playable cards? Or are they just chase cards? Are they going to be like Pokemon with like secret rares? Or, like,
Well, they did cover up what the card did. So
I don't know. I mean, the Mickey was a 2/2 for 3, and he was inkable.
Probably
And
not
I
the
think
best.
I don't know. Like, we'll have to see what the rest of the text, because you could tell there was text on it, but it was blurred out. I have to imagine if they're picking those are legendary cards, right? Like, there's no way they can do non-legendary cards as the iconic cards. They have to be legendary in the set. With this new treatment. If that's not the case, then we may have a problem. It was already weird when enchanteds were like uncommons in the last couple sets. So
Revive.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that they're going the route. Everybody complains, and I'm kind of in that same boat. Like once I get my play sets of everything, like I've got packs for days in the closet. I've got, sealed stuff all over here, and there's nothing in me saying I need to open them to try to get that enchanted because I know it's not in there. Like, but
You
at
never know.
least, at least with all this other stuff, like it's gonna feel better if you're making sure I open a box and I have multiple shiny cards that I care about. Two epics, maybe the enchanted, maybe they need to boost the drop rates of enchanteds and there'd be guaranteed one in a case or guaranteed one in two boxes, type thing. So
What if the new rarity turns into what enchanted is now, where it's only one per case and then enchanteds are one per box? That would be great.
I would love that because
Yeah.
my thing is like, so I'm not the Pokemon collector. I'm not the one that has to go find $1,000 card, right? And even when you look at like Elsa, right? Elsa's only like $800, and I think she's one of the most expensive enchanteds. So like to me, I would be fine with one enchanted per box, and then you say that those cards are worth $50, right?
Yeah.
Like that would essentially put what their value is. Maybe 75 if it's a playable enchanted card. But like, yeah, I would love to see that to where you feel much better about those cards.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, like, you have those that are playable now, and you can play with them, and then that makes the foil rares and things like that. You look at like foil Maui Shark, 70, $80. Like, you could all of a sudden be like, hey man, I got a really good box. Like, I pulled a foil legendary and this, that, and the other. I mean, then you're really talking about value out of the set,
Yeah.
and that's when people will start really cracking packs. But as
Yeah.
of now, it's kind of hard to justify.
Well, and that's why I say right now with the current set, I feel like a lot of people are cracking the current set because we haven't had those massive drops on a lot of these cards because we haven't had DLCs, we haven't had worlds, things like that. So like there's a lot of value in the current set. But immediately, once we have worlds, that's going to define what those boxes are worth, depending on what makes, the finals table. So it'll be interesting. The other thing I really thought was cool that they showcased for Fabled, and again, we didn't get to see a lot of what Jafar's going to bring us with cards and things like that. Again, we're getting all of our spoilers soon, but with Fabled, they showed us the collector's starter set. So I thought that was kind of fun in the way that they understand that this may be the set that brings people in, right? And you're going to get Big Tink with a binder. So Big Tink with the whole colored border like we saw with Lilo, like we saw with Mickey. So you can go ahead and get one of those big cards right away.
I didn't know that. I didn't see
Yeah.
that on the stream. I was watching on my phone. It was too tiny.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
it
just
has-
a shiny tank.
No, it has the gray border. So she's using the steel colors of that color treatment.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's the final one, right? Because we had Mickey.
We just had
Well,
3, right?
I think we had what? Stitch, Mickey, and Leela. She's the fourth.
We don't
What
have a
was-
Stitch yet.
What
Stitch
was
isn't.
the Stitch?
He was a promo
Stitch was
card,
the-
but he didn't have the green border.
He didn't have. He wasn't green.
No,
No.
he was a
Oh, I
green
know which one you're
card.
talking about it.
He was a
He-
green card, but he didn't have the green
He
border.
had like a different foiling on him.
Yeah.
He's, like, moving around and
Oh,
I can get it
okay,
from my
okay.
binder.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
I was
could
gonna
probably,
say
I could probably
it's
pull
down
it out.
it's down there to my side.
I was gonna say. I was like, mine's over here somewhere.
Yeah, I have
All
mine.
right.
I can kind of.
He was a green
out.
card, and he messed up all of the numbering. But no, he did not have the green border.
Oh, okay. All right. I was
yeah.
gonna say it would complete the borders.
Yeah, so we have three borders so far of the 6. We still need purple,
I think I give mine away.
blue, and purple, blue, and
I guess green still.
green. Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on that one. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out. But again, it's got a binder, which means be prepared. That thing's gonna be $50 again. Like I think that's what the Stitch one was with the binder. It was not the cheap $29.99 gift set. I think it was $39.99 or $49.99. So
It's pretty expensive, but worth it.
yeah.
I like the art
Yeah.
on it at least, but I know a lot of people don't like using those binders, but I have
Yeah.
no problems with it.
It's one of those things like if you need a binder, it's a pretty decent deal. If you need a binder, if you don't need a binder, it's kind of annoying. So like the people are like, I want 4 of those tinks. Well, you're gonna have 4 of those binders. So
Yeah.
you know, is what it is with a handful of packs of Fabled. But kind of moving from that, right? The other thing that they showed us, which was kind of interesting, the Jafar set champs card was spoiled, but not on this cast. And again, that's for our set champs. That would be in August, September. But this one that they did spoil was Maleficent Dragon. So another one of those reprint cards. They mentioned Stitch Rockstar. We saw Elsa. We saw Tink. But then also Maleficent Dragon, which makes me think she's also getting reprinted in the set. But she's going to be the set champs card. And they showed us the art of the the participation card plus the Enchanted Out, and the card looks good. I want to know if it's going to be playable after rotation because it was good in set 1 and 2, and then it's disappeared.
Yeah, we haven't seen that card since at all. But yeah, it's a pretty cool card. Like I'm excited for it. I'm like, all right, you guys are trying to make us play set champs. I see what you guys are doing there. But I don't know. It's just like weird how they're just showing us like everything.
Yeah.
Already. That's the only thing I had. And I was like, gosh, you guys are showing us too much stuff in the future. I thought it was going to be all about Jafar compared to like so much stuff down the road. Now we're like just looking down the road to see what happens.
And keep in mind, that set champs is like December. So it's 6 months away. Don't get too excited about the card. It's 6 months away. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely play with the card. I think the card looks great. Like you'll get me to go to store champs for it, but outside of that, I was like, there's a lot of ramp with Tipo and Sale. Maybe red blue will be a thing still, but
maybe. Yeah. Again, I think that's going to be the biggest thing when we look at rotation is really look. And I haven't had the moment. Like I've glanced at most decks, and I'm like, well, that deck's gone. Well, that deck's gone. Well, that deck's gone. But I haven't truly dug in yet to see what's staying. I kind of didn't want to do that until I saw the Jafar stuff being printed, just to see what stood out there. But going off what you said, Prashant, like I love what they did, but I feel like they just gave us too much because one of the last things they gave us on there, right? They had to show off Goof Troop as a card, and I believe that one's in Fabled, I believe. But then they also showed us like set 10. Yeah. So set 10, beginning of next year, they gave us the name. They told us some properties are in it. But like, what are you guys' thoughts? Like, should we even know that yet? Or even be teased with that yet?
I don't know. I think we should enjoy what we have in front of us. Like, I was already fine with having a Goofy movie inside. I was like, oh, that's coming up. That's pretty cool. But like, it's like, okay, Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck. Like, I'm like, oh crap, now I'm looking forward to all of that. And now I'm looking forward to like what's after that. And then you take a look like, all right, set 10 already? Like set 1 seems like it was like yesterday. It's crazy how far the game's gone already. So I don't know, it's like it's like they're doing a speed run of Lorcana, like of everything.
I think maybe they're like, hey, we're not having a DLC this summer. We're not inviting you guys to Worlds. Here's set 10. Here, look at this. Look over here. Like I think that's kind of what it is, like little distraction there. Or it's like, hey, I'm really tired of you guys asking me, can we add this to the game? We're just gonna throw it all out there and be like, no more questions, But I don't know.
And it's funny because like they gave us a lot of this at D23 at a higher level, which is. I didn't really expect to get more details until we got closer, but they told us like Black Cauldron, Pocahontas, Pixar, right? This is all next year that they have planned on the roadmap. And they gave us that at D23, but then turn back around and be like, oh yeah, here's set 10. Here's the name of it. Here's some art for it. Here's Black Cauldron. Oh yeah, by the way, Gargoyles. And I do think that Gargoyles and Goof Troop, I think they are asked all the time, and they were just like, quit asking me. It's here. Just quit asking. Here's the answer. It's right here. But yeah, it's...
and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck, yeah, because I know that one gets asked all the time, because we have Gizmo Duck, but not Darkwing, so...
Yeah.
But
the
it
whole
sounded
Disney
like...
afternoon is going to be in Lorcana.
It sounded like Darkwing Duck though would be into next year and not set 10, so more like set 11. Again, we'll have to see as we get closer with spoilers there, but yeah, I mean overall, I think it was a great
Yeah,
lore
Bambi.
cast.
Bambi's around now too.
Yeah,
who
Bambi's
wants-
coming out
Who
in
cares about
in
Bambi? Come on
Jafar.
now.
So speaking of Bambi and all that, if you guys want to check out any of the spoilers for Jafar, we're gonna, like I said earlier in the video, we're gonna have videos coming out daily talking about all those spoilers. There's so many spoilers happening every single day, including our spoiler later this week. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff happening. So if you haven't already done it, guys, make sure hit that follow button below, hit the like, hit the subscribe, all of that stuff. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought was the best part about the Lorecast. And you know, what are you anticipating or looking forward to with Reign of Jafar just around the corner? But yeah, I appreciate all you guys for watching the content. Definitely, Prashant, let them know where they can find you, what you got going on as we wrap this up.
Yeah, you could find me here, and then on Twitter, I'm Prashan_snap, Twitch, Prashan, and yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. How about you, Tristan?
Again, Twitter, Tristan Whitelock, just my actual name. I kind of need to change that, but you know, whatever. I have it at the bottom. I switched the W and the L, so just don't put the K for some reason. Twitter, that was taken already. I don't know who took that, but that's where you can find me the most. And I'm pretty active on there lately.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing you more and more on the channel, especially as we start getting into more of our heroic content over here as well. So appreciate you joining us for this. Excited to have you join us in more of these spoiler videos as well. So definitely, guys, if you want to check those out, hit up the links. I'm sure you'll see one coming over here or over here, wherever, as this video is wrapping up. So appreciate you guys. Until next time, y'all take it easy.
See ya.